Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to cover the 2017 BAFTA nominations. They've already been announced, so this is not a live reaction. Of course, we're just going to talk about kind of the big stories here coming out of the British Academy's voting here. Um, yeah, I think how we're going to do this is I'm going to run down the films that have multiple nominations, then we'll go through the films that have no nominations, because there's actually quite a few of films that are in contention this year at the Oscars who are getting no support here from the British. So let's start there, and these are really going to work from the top down. So it's like the first five films I mentioned here are all nominated for Best Film and a couple other categories, and so on and so forth. There are a couple films, of course, that are nominated in just one category. We'll get to those when we just kind of do another run through of the categories here. Okay, so starting out, Call Me by Your Name is one of the film nominees this morning. It's also nominated for director, lead actor, and adapted screenplay. Unfortunately, that's it for Call Me by Your Name, which is, the British always do. There's usually at the Academy Awards too. There's a few films that get more tech nominations and stuff. They don't end up in Best Picture, so there's a few Best Picture nominees that are like getting 3, 4 nominations. And you have some films like Blade Runner probably this year that, or Star Wars, or a couple of those other ones where it's like, well, hey, they got like 5 or 6 nominations, but none of them are for Best Picture. So that's kind of the situation there. With this one, it kind of a surprise to get in for director for Luca. That's really his first nomination in a while that we've seen from him. No love in the tech categories for this one, no editing or cinematography or anything like that. And then also you'll see there again we're seeing trouble with supporting actor for the film. Can't get Armie Hammer in, can't get Michael Stuhlbarg in. Let's see here. We'll move on now to Darkest Hour, which is up for 9 nominations here. It's up for film, actor, supporting actress, best British film, cinematography, score, production design, costume design, and makeup. Yeah, I think I had this one nailed here earlier. It was, yeah, I knew this one was going to get a lot of love. No director for Joe Wright, which is kind of surprising, but still, yeah, getting the British film is no surprise. Getting into actor and overall film, no surprise. The tech category, love, no surprise. Yeah, the only one I didn't count on was Kristen Scott Thomas got in for supporting actress, so that's her first nomination of the season, I believe. All right, next up. No surprise here, it's Dunkirk, which got 7 nominations, including film, director, cinematography, sound, production design, visual effects, and editing. Actually, I think, in addition, there's also sound editing at the Oscars, not just overall sound. I think these are the same I have for the Oscars as well, except wait, maybe not production design. I'm kind of iffy on that one. Production design might go a couple different directions there, but otherwise, 7 nominations is a good show, I think, for Dunkirk. All right, next up, The Shape of Water, which is the most nominated film this morning. No surprise there. It's up for film, director, actress, supporting actress, original screenplay, cinematography, score, sound, production design, visual effects, costume design, and editing. As my voice starts to go out. Anyways, so dang it, I don't know what it is. Okay, so supporting actor, no nomination there for Richard Jenkins, which is a little troubling, but I think he gets in at the Oscars. He's gotten in about everywhere else. Yeah, otherwise, yeah, I think everything else, it's probably going to score at the Oscars. I do have it in for supporting actress. It was Octavia Spencer who got in here this morning. Um, yeah, otherwise, I think everything else is going to happen at the Oscars too. All right, moving on. Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri is our final nominee here for Best Film. It got 9 nominations this morning, including film, director, actress, supporting actor. Yep, I didn't repeat that. There are 2 nominees there. Original screenplay, Best British Film, cinematography, and editing. Yeah, this one, I thought it was going to do well. I didn't think it was going to do this well. So again, we see that double supporting actor nom like we did at SAG for both Sam Rockwell and Woody Harrelson. It got in for cinematography, which I think is fantastic. British film, it qualified for British film. McDonough is originally from Ireland, so a lot of love for him. Yeah, this one, I mean, if Get Out and Lady Bird are not nominated for Best Film at BAFTA here, and after 4 wins at the Globes, Three Billboards is really coming out strong here. As long as it doesn't miss DGA and it doesn't, get totally shafted by Critics' Choice, I think we're going to see that momentum really build over the next few days as it continues to do well. through the season here. The only thing, some of the guilds aren't going for it, which some guilds like makeup, for example, uh, and hairstyling, maybe yeah, not necessarily a big player in that regard, or like production design or a couple of those. It's like I can't remember if it did well. I don't think it got very many nods at those. All right, next up, this is kind of a surprise it got this many nominations, but Blade Runner 2049 gets in for director, cinematography, score, sound, production design, visual effects, makeup, and editing. That's 8 nominations. So yeah, guys, get this. Blade Runner got more support from BAFTA than Dunkirk did. That's pretty surprising. Now the director thing, I did have a video up earlier, which was the kind of rough nomination predictions for BAFTA, and I did say that Villeneuve was a possibility for director. I didn't think he would get in. I think I put the same thing for Luca for director, but there were some more likely choices that they went over. So yeah, that's it's good to see it get all these nominations and stuff. Like it's not eligible for makeup, so that one won't repeat at the Oscars. I don't think Villeneuve has it in him for director, unless he gets a really surprise DGA nomination here. Uh, that might shake things up a little bit, but I don't think he has the support right now. And then score, I think it's 2 or 3 people worked on the score here, which the Oscars usually frown upon. They don't usually award in that case. So that's the only one. Otherwise, I don't think that's going to repeat at the Oscars. Otherwise, I think everything else is fair game at the Oscars. Okay, so if you count it up there, yeah, that's our 5 nominees for both film and director. Okay, moving on now. Phantom Thread has 4 nominations here this morning. Got in for lead actor, supporting actress, score, and costume design. Yeah, so Leslie Manville was the supporting actress there. I think at the Oscars, it's really just looking at score, costume, and actor. I didn't get into screenplay here. Um, let's see. The only other one I think that could have been possible was production design, and then maybe getting into, of course, film and director. But looks like that's about it. Get Out gets 2 nominations here this morning: lead actor for Daniel Kaluuya and original screenplay for Jordan Peele. That's it. So no director here, of course. No editing here. Kind of surprising for those. I didn't have Jordan Peele getting nominated for director, so I wasn't, too high on the film's ambitions there. But to see Daniel Kaluuya get in, wow! I mean, this guy has run the board. He's definitely getting in. So yeah, if you're not betting on him yet, I would say switch over quick. Ditch Tom Hanks, ditch Jake Gyllenhaal, whoever else you got in there. Okay, next up, Film Stars Don't Die in Liverpool. I'm kind of hitting myself. I'm like, well, duh. What's in the title here? Liverpool. Of course, it's going to do well at BAFTA. Got in for lead actor, lead actress, and adapted screenplay. So lead actor, of course, that's Jamie Bell, who I think up until recently was running in the supporting race at the Oscars. Lead actress, that's Annette Bening. Her first nomination of the season, then adapted screenplay. Yeah, this one I think is really going to be a non-entity at the Oscars. It's just not doing well anywhere. So, at least BAFTA gave it a few nods here and there. I, Tonya, this one really surprised because I didn't think there was a couple of reports I read where it wasn't going to qualify in time for BAFTA, but hey, here it is. Okay, it gets in for actress, supporting actress, original screenplay, costume design, and makeup. Wow. Okay, they went for this one. This one got more nominations than Phantom Thread, more than Get Out, more than Call Me by Your Name, and more than the other ones I'm going to mention here in a couple minutes. So, yeah, they went for I, Tonya in a lot of especially for me, like costume design. I did not think that one. And surprisingly, I think the editing in the film, I think, is kind of a dark horse contender to get in at the Oscars. It's a possibility. I don't think it's going to happen at this rate, but, I mean, I would love to see it happen. And original screenplay is another one I would love to see happen, but right now I think it's just on the outside. It's not going to get in. But see, I think makeup does repeat at the Oscars, and I think supporting actress and actress get in. And especially since we don't have Judi Dench nominated in the lead actress category, that definitely means Margot Robbie is now very safe, I think, for that 5th slot at the Oscars. And yeah, moving on now to Lady Bird. Surprisingly, only got 3 nominations here this morning. Got in for lead actress, supporting actress, and also for original screenplay, but that was it. No love for Greta Gerwig for directing, no film, obviously. Yeah, so this one, I think we're going to continue to see it do well as it goes on here, of course. But kind of like Get Out this morning, it's like, yeah, these two are, and Get Out, and I think Three Billboards are the three. It's going to come down for Best Picture at the Oscars, but obviously, I think it's going to be a way different game here at BAFTA. Okay, moving on now. Paddington 2 got a lot of love this morning. Got in for Supporting Actor for Hugh Grant, Adapted Screenplay, and Best British Film. Which actually I should have seen coming because Paddington, the first one, did well here at BAFTA. I think it got 2 or 3 nominations as well. I know for sure it got Adapted Screenplay, and I'm pretty sure it was up for British Film that year too. But Hugh Grant getting in, I think that's just kind of a very BAFTA thing to do, of course. So unfortunately, somebody like Richard Jenkins or Armie Hammer, Michael Stuhlbarg, a few of the other outside contenders there were not up for supporting actor there. Instead, one of those slots goes to Hugh Grant. Okay, The Death of Stalin got a couple nominations. Again, I think this is a non-entity at the Oscars. Same, I think, goes for Paddington 2. For Death of Stalin, got in for Adapted Screenplay and Best British Film. Yeah, I think we're going to move on. Baby Driver got a couple nominations this morning. Got in for Sound and for Editing, which, previously I wasn't putting any love on Baby Driver for the Oscars. I think I'll put it into the sound categories at least. We'll see if it can get in for editing too. That one, editing's kind of tight this year. Okay, Star Wars Last Jedi got a couple nominations. One of those was for sound, one for visual effects, which, other than original score maybe, I think that's about what we're going to get at the Oscars. And then Beauty and the Beast got production design and costume design. That's 2. I think they don't have an original song category here at the Oscars, or at the BAFTAs, I mean. So otherwise, I think 3 or maybe 4 if it gets into, maybe, what's the other one I'm thinking of? But I can't remember right now. But yeah, so at least those 2 at the Oscars for sure, then probably original song. It gets at least 1 nomination there, I think. Okay, so let's talk about what's not nominated here. Where's The Post? Again, The Post, kind of like at SAG, gets left out to dry here at BAFTA, which was really surprising for me, especially considering how much they really liked Spielberg's film Bridge of Spies a couple years ago. He got 9 nominations here at BAFTA that year. Only ended up with 6 Oscar nominations. Only had 1 Globe nomination, 1 SAG nomination. So again, no Tom Hanks here. No Meryl Streep, who I think gets in at the Oscars anyways. No screenplay, of course, no director. No love in the tech categories either. So that one totally missed. And that one, I think, it qualified and everything. It opened over there in time. So they just didn't go for it. The Big Sick also has no nominations here this morning. Nothing for Holly Hunter or original screenplay. Nothing for any of the other categories there. Mudbound is also receiving a goose egg here this morning, but I think that one, since it was on Netflix, maybe that had something to do with it. Otherwise, it might not have screened here in time. The Disaster Artist is another one that didn't get any love, so no James Franco or adapted screenplay here for that one. That one, again, as far as I know, it qualified in time, so they just didn't, that one might, just be a little too American for him, no surprise there. The Greatest Showman got nothing here. No costumes or production design or score or anything like that. Downsizing gets nothing. Nothing for what's her name? Hong Chow. No screenplay, visual effects, nothing like that. Battle of the Sexes, which has gotten into just about everywhere else it can for at least getting 1 or 2 oddball nominations. Nothing for that. And then Breathe, which is kind of a biopic about a lot of British people there, and kind of a famous time in Britain. No nominations for that. So that I thought it was kind of an outside contender for a couple slots here and there, but nope, they didn't go for it. Okay, so moving on here, there are a couple other films here that are nominated in just one category, like All the Money in the World. Christopher Plummer is here in supporting actor. I have put him in for supporting actor at the Oscars, but man, Woody Harrelson just got in too. So now he and Chris Plummer both have BAFTA, and then Plummer had the Globe, and Woody has SAG. So man, that's going to be a tight battle between those two as far as who gets that 5th slot. And right now, the way it's lining up, All the Money in the World is having a lot of trouble getting much other love, other than the Globes gave it a few other things. But All the Money in the World didn't really get much else support really throughout the season. Mainly because of its really tight schedule there. So yeah, Plummer actually might miss out on a nomination too. It depends on how far they want to go at the Oscars. Willem Dafoe is also up here in supporting actor for The Florida Project. the only nomination the film got, which looks like that's the way it's going to go down at the Oscars too. And yeah, I think that's it for that one. Let's see, what else was I going to mention here? Oh, over an adapted screenplay. Molly's Game is nominated as well for adapted screenplay. The only nomination that film got, which it looks like at the Oscars is going to play out very similar. I don't think Jessica Chastain has enough steam built up behind her to get one of those 5 slots for actress. And it did get into like PGA and stuff like that, so it's getting its fair share of support here. But I don't think it's going to get much love from the tech categories either. So and it didn't get anything else here at BAFTA. So I think that's really about the only thing that it's going to have to go for here. Okay, anything else I wanted to mention here? War for the Planet of the Apes only got 1 nomination for visual effects. That'll probably be about it at the Oscars too. Victoria and Abdul is a nominee here this morning. I thought it would be a bigger player than it was. You know, I thought Judi Dench would get in for sure. Adapted screenplay would get in, but no. Instead, it's only up for makeup and hairstyling over here. Wonder is also nominated here. It's its only nomination here as well. So yeah, Victoria and Abdul just totally crashed and burned here with only the 1 nomination. The same with Wonder, but that one I don't think was going to be a huge player here. Otherwise. And then really the only other one we can mention here is animated film. They went for Coco, Loving Vincent, and then My Life as a Zucchini, which was not eligible last year. They put it in this year. So yeah, so I think 2 of those for sure are getting at the Oscars. One obviously was nominated last year. Okay, so if we run down the categories here just based off the number of nominations and everything here this morning, animated feature, I think that'll still go to Coco unless they go... well, Loving Vincent actually might have its support, so that's that one. Oh, there's also, we mentioned it earlier, the Rising Star Award. These were already announced the other day, but it's Daniel Kaluuya, Florence Pugh, or is it Puh? I don't know. Josh O'Connor, Tessa Thompson, and Timothée Chalamet. So this one probably goes to Timothée, unless they want to give it to Daniel Kaluuya. But I think Timothée is probably the safer bet there. For foreign language, we should mention these actually. Yeah, Elle, which was not nominated here last year, not eligible, it did make it in this year. First They Killed My Father, The Handmaiden, Loveless, and The Salesman. Again, The Salesman was another one from last year that wasn't qualifying in time for Britain, so it's nominated here this year. Yeah, this one probably they're either going to go with The Salesman to make up for last year, Elle, or maybe First They Killed My Father since it's Angelina Jolie. Editing probably goes to either Dunkirk or I would say either Dunkirk or 3 Billboards at this rate. Makeup and hairstyling, that probably goes to Darkest Hour. Costume design, probably going to go to either Darkest Hour or Phantom Thread. Visual effects, that's probably going to go to either Planet of the Apes or... Actually, they might give that one to Blade Runner. Blade Runner has enough support here. I don't think it's going to get way too many wins here. They might go for Blade Runner for visual effects here. Production design, that's probably Shape of Water, Beauty and the Beast, or maybe they go with an oddball pick like Blade Runner for that one too. For best sound, I think that goes to Dunkirk. Original score goes to either Shape of Water or Dunkirk. Let's see, British film, best British film. Ooh, that's the thing here is 3 Billboards is nominated here as well as Darkest Hour. Also, the other ones are Death of Stalin, God's Own Country, Paddington 2, and Lady Macbeth. They always go with 6 in this category, unless it's a tie, then they go for 7 or whatever. But yeah, this one is either going to be Darkest Hour or 3 Billboards. The thing is, both are up for best film overall too. So yeah, so what they could do here is if they say, you know, Dunkirk is looking very likely to win best film here, then they'll go with 3 Billboards for outstanding British film. Or they could just go Darkest Hour if they like that one enough. But, you know, we all thought Imitation Game here a couple years ago would win, but it went to Theory of Everything. So, yeah. So in that case, maybe it is 3 Billboards here, and that clears them up to do Dunkirk or Shape of Water for best film overall. We missed, cinematography. That one, they'll probably line up with Roger Deakins on that one. That one or Dunkirk, one of those two. Okay, looking at the nominees here, I think adapted screenplay is going to go to Call Me by Your Name. Original screenplay, Probably Three Billboards, unless they want to give Lady Bird, because I don't know if they'll give Lady Bird anything else here. Supporting actress, that's probably going to come down to either Metcalf or Allison Janney, since they're both nominated. Supporting actor, geez, well, Rockwell just won the Globe, so he's got a good thing there. And then Willem Dafoe is also up here. It's probably one of those two. For lead actress, that's probably going to line up with Frances McDormand. But then again, Sally Hawkins, she is, very famous over here in the UK. She might actually pull this one out. And also Saoirse is from Ireland, so it's like, yeah, it's really those three. I don't think Margot Robbie has enough steam behind her to win. So kind of like at the Oscars, it comes down to one of those three. But Frances, I think, has the support behind her right now. Lead actor Gary Oldman, done. Director, yeah, the way Shape of Water performed here today, they might go Shape of Water, but if it's not him, Guillermo del Toro, it's definitely Chris Nolan for Dunkirk. And then for film, yeah, I think it's Dunkirk probably has a way more likely shot to win here than it does at the Oscars. If they don't go for Dunkirk, they'll go with Shape of Water or Three Billboards, or possibly Darkest Hour. It does have 9 nominations. That's a lot. So if they like it enough, then I think it could win there. But no screenplay nomination there for that, which sometimes the parameters for BAFTA don't always line up the same as the Oscars, where at the Oscars, if you're not nominated for screenplay, you might be screwed, but that's not always the case for BAFTA. And actually, let me look it over again. Darkest Hour is also not up for editing. Really, Dunkirk also missed out for screenplay too. So, of the if we use the normal Oscar parameters there for overall film, Call Me by Your Name was also not nominated for editing. Darkest Hour wasn't. Dunkirk was not nominated for screenplay, and neither was Darkest Hour. So it's really Shape of Water or Three Billboards that have the acting support, director support, writing support, and editing support. So you would think it'd be one of those two, but I don't know. It's if Dunkirk's going to do extremely, extremely, extremely well anywhere, it's going to be here. So and getting 7 nominations, that's pretty good still. So it's yeah, this one I think it'll be a dogfight down to the end. Now, as far as what these will do for the Oscars here, I kind of mentioned a couple possibilities there. For me, yeah, I think Baby Driver getting this kind of support here, a couple nominations. Yeah, I should probably start considering that one a little more in those tech categories. Otherwise, seeing this love for I, Tonya might just trick me into. I don't know, since I'm a big fan of the movie too, I might just be convinced to put that one in for maybe one of those picks for original screenplay. Now that the Post didn't get anything here, I might be convinced to move Spielberg out of director now. But I think if he gets in for DGA, I think I'll keep him. If he misses DGA, I'll take him out and I'll put either Jordan Peele or I don't think. Yeah, like I said, I don't think Denis has enough evidence behind him to get in for director. So it's probably either Jordan Peele or if they go with a really oddball pick there, like what's his name off the Florida Project, Sean Baker, or if they go with somebody like Luca Guadagnino, all of a sudden he could come back for director. Joe Wright, maybe. I'm trying to think who else has a shot here. I don't think they go with I, Tonya for director. I don't think. Well, obviously, I think Greta's going to get in, so that's it. That's another one for Lady Bird there. Yeah, I'm trying to think who else could get in here for director. Maybe Dee Reese if they go for the Netflix thing, which DGA, to my knowledge, never has, and yeah, but I don't see Dee Reese being a big player at DGA. So probably Spielberg still gets in there, and then I think that leads him to getting in for director. The Post has probably already got enough support for Best Picture and actress, and I'll keep it in for original screenplay for now. But original screenplay, I can see if they don't go with the Post. I think the other 4 nominees that were here this morning: Three Billboards, Lady Bird, Shape of Water, and Get Out are all safe at the Oscars. So it's just going to be that 5th slot. Is it the Post or is it I, Tonya? Is it The Big Sick, maybe? I don't think Phantom Thread is also in the original category there. I don't think it has enough support right now. So, yeah, that 5th slot is going to be a real bitch trying to figure out what it's going to be. Anyway, so yeah, I think that's it for now. It's pretty early here, so I'll go ahead and fully wake up now, and we'll catch you guys later.